Dude, it's absolutely incredible. You've been I feel like anytime I get on Instagram, I'm hearing Joe Rogan talk about Ed Clay, right? So you guys are doing a lot of stuff. You just got a major deal with the UFC,
Yeah.
right? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're the official stem cell provider of the UFC.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a big deal. We signed it in March, and we basically, sponsor the events. They send a lot of fighters to us. We have a lot of UFC fighters that come to us, and it really kind of puts stem cells on the map because what we do is different than a lot of other people. We do have, I believe, the best cell that's available to humans at this point. I mean, there's stuff in the horizon that's going to be even better, but we grow our cells different in what's called a hypoxic environment. It's a low oxygen environment, makes them last longer, live longer, and grow better. And we've been treating UFC fighters for a couple, 2.5 years. We've had a lot of fighters come through, and we prevent a lot of surgeries. We prevented, some people from retiring and those type of things. So it's really great for the fighters. We have an overall, approach to get people healthy, and fighters leave there better consistently. It doesn't always work. There's nothing 100%, but
sure.
We're going to be publishing here pretty soon a paper on herniated discs. And we're about 75% success rate in treating the herniations and keeping people from surgery. So pretty happy with that.
Surgery's supposed to be the last resort, right?
It should be.
Yeah.
I would always do stem cells before any type of surgery for, shoulder or herniated disc or knee injury.
Yep. So let's, you hear a lot about stem cells. I feel like it's a misused word right now, right? So let's dumb it down a little bit and speak on the everyman's level, right?
Sure.
So for those, like for instance, in my 40s, I decided I wasn't going to be a fat slob anymore. Need to get better, right? But dude, I've got some aggressive arthritis in my back from baseball and all that stuff. So it's something that I've entertained, but I don't even know enough about it, right? So who is the who is the avatar of somebody that should look at stem cells? What's the most normal uses for it for cures?
Yeah, I would say anybody who's facing surgery for an injury, I think should look at stem cells first. Herniated disc, it's a huge problem. A lot of people with back and neck problems, and we deal with those every single week, and we're generally successful in treating them. If you have a torn labrum, for instance, I would do stem cells before torn labrum. We actually grew back Eddie Bravo's labrum, which was amazing. Yeah, he was going to have surgery, and it took about 4 months. We tell people different than a lot of other places where we have them take 3 months off, and do physical therapy in between there and not get back too soon, because if you're growing back tissue, it needs time to grow. It's just not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And so our cells are very potent in the sense that, when you get an injection, it hurts. You're going to be sore for a couple weeks, and you got to ease back into it. But the results are really incredible. The difference, like for instance, in the United States, what you can get and what you can get in Mexico or say Panama or Colombia, is in the U.S. you're not allowed to expand stem cells. So when you see somebody doing stem cells in America, let's say they give you 2 cc's of what's called Wharton jelly, right? There's only about 1% of that Wharton jelly that's actually mesenchymal stem cells. And so I'm like, well, it's really not a stem cell product. Like if you had orange juice and it had 1% orange juice, you wouldn't call it orange juice. But when you get 10 million, 20 million, 100 million stem cells from us, it's all mesenchymal stem cells.
Right.
So that's the big difference of what you can get in America and then what we do. And then the big difference in what we do and what everybody else does is how we grow our cells in a hypoxic environment. And we use a human lysate rather than an animal lysate. Some people are moving away from the bovine lysate, but that's another big difference as well.
Gotcha. So as far as future stuff, right? So you guys are kind of leading, I guess, the world in innovation with this stuff, right?
Yes.
It's just crazy.
It's wild. We're the largest manufacturer of stem cells in the world.
Bro,
So.
That's incredible, man.
Thanks.
So you guys are again, you started out as cancer research, went into this stuff. Talk to me a little bit about so genomics are a part of the future, and also that would lead kind of to the documentary Hope in Tijuana, right? So,
Yes.
So talk to me about the genomics and what you guys are doing there, and kind of lead that into the documentary.
Yeah, so for 2 years, we started in November of 2022. We've been renovating our hospital, all 6 floors, and we have 2 floors left. The 2 floors are probably that are left, probably 80% done.
Okay.
But we built a new floor, 6th floor to the hospital, that has a cellular manufacturing lab, genomics lab, proteomics, optical genome mapping. And the idea was if we could build the best lab in the world for solid tumor cancers, what would we do? How would we build it? That was how we built this. So, for instance, you go to MD Anderson or Sloan Kettering, great places, but excuse me, their tests, their gene panel test for tumors, the largest one they have is about 600 genes. Ours is 1,021. It's almost double what you can get in America. We also do what's called whole exome sequencing as standard care, which is the 20 to 22,000 coding regions in the genome. So you get the targeted panel, but you also get a broader panel as well. And we also have redundancy to make sure each test is accurate. We do something called optical genome mapping, where we map the genome of the tumor to find even more targets of what's called structural variations. We look at the cytokines in the immune system of the patient too, to see how the patient's responding to those. We have digital pathology, where we take a piece of the tumor and we digitize it, and then we can map it with AI. And so we use AI combined with the pathologist to get an even better result for the patient, better diagnosis for the patient. Whereas if you send your tumor off for testing in America, it could take between 2 and 6 weeks. You're going to get results back from us in as little as 48 hours, but no longer than 5 days, along with the biopsy, the pathology, the digital pathology. So we put all of those together and put it in a report that's understandable. And it shows you all the clinical trials in America, shows you off-label approved drugs, shows you on-label approved drugs. And then we have our selection as well that adds to that. So it's really a comprehensive approach that allows us to give patients the best possible information they could have for the cancer. Because, in this time, there's a lot of great treatments coming out in the United States even. But if you don't know that there's a target on there that matches that treatment, you wouldn't know that the treatment's available for you. So we really wanted to focus with where can we be the best at? And it wasn't treatments at the time, because so much has evolved. 9 years ago, I would say that we had a lot of better options for immunotherapy in Mexico than was in the United States, but not anymore. Right now, the United States, they've approved a lot of these immunotherapies for cancer. So where we thought we could make the biggest impact in the short term was the diagnostics. And so that's why we built it that way. We have a cellular manufacturing lab, though, that we will be making the next generation therapies. In the next 2 to 3 years, we want to have some just blockbusters. We can get in patients so much faster because of the licensing, that it gives us a competitive advantage over all these other biotechs that are out there, all the pharmas in the U.S., because we can get into patients fast. And we generally know, because of immunotherapies, how safe it's going to be. They're not as dangerous as blowing somebody up with chemo. And we're actually engineering our cellular therapies to have a kill switch, to where if they're having an severe adverse event, we can give them a pill and it shuts off that immune response too. So that's how we're designing these next generation treatments as well. So I think what we're about to come out with in the next few years is going to be pretty epic.
No doubt. Talk to me. Take that right into the documentary. I saw a trailer for it today. It looks absolutely incredible, dude. Yeah,
it's really exciting. My friend Nick Nanton, he actually did the Operation Underground Railroad documentary, the one in Haiti.
Yep.
That was Nick, and he's been a longtime friend. And I hit him up and said, "Hey, would you be interested in starting to film us? I don't know what's going to happen, but I think something amazing is going to happen here in the future." And so he's followed us for 6 years, and traveling around. We were launching something called United Cancer Centers in 2019 and 2020. We went for the fundraise 2019, 2020. And we were going to be the first institution to implement the right to try legislation that Trump signed in. And so we built an amazing team for that. And we're going gung-ho, raising $100 million. And the fundraise fell flat on its face when COVID happened. So all of that hard work, the roadshow that we did, just stopped when COVID happened. And so we gave all the investors their money back, and pivoted to Mexico to put that model in Mexico. We could actually do a lot more in Mexico. So the documentary takes you through all of that, where we're at the hospital, when we decide to do United Cancer Centers, the legislation gets passed, where we're going to Thailand and going all over the world, doing the fundraise, when COVID happens, after when we start our stem cell operation, showing the stem cell operation becoming the largest in the world, and finishing with the renovation, pretty much done. So they did a great job. About 90 minutes long. Tells the story really well. It's a lot of information that they had to pack into 90 minutes.
That's right.
And the team, Nick and Katie, did an amazing job, and I'm really excited about it coming out.